Hey everyone, Matthew here again. Okay, as you can see, there's been a few changes to the outside of the house since last time. Also, there's a little bit of snow on the ground here. We're up here in the frozen north. It's actually been pretty cold for November, and I got a bit of a cough here, so bear with me if I have to stop for coughing a few times. So, as you can see, these are new surroundings. The last time it was pretty windy out, so I just took a shot through the window. It's not quite as bad today here, but it definitely is windy. This is a very windy location, not a lot of tree cover. I joke that it's the windiest place in Alberta, so I don't know, that's probably not accurate, but it sure feels like it some days. You can see we've got a gas line here. This is just recently put in. We're not going to put it in this year. We're just going to have the propane tanks on the ground. But basically on this tongue here, we're going to build a shed that starts maybe just below the window, and we can have a couple of propane tanks in there, maybe a small generator or something like that. And then that'll run into here. We can turn our gas on and off out here. So that's what's going on with that. Let's come around here real quick. Excuse me. This hatch here is a RV hot water tank. When I originally bought it, I didn't realize it had to be mounted with this facing to the outside. Excuse me, but it actually makes sense after I was reading the installation instructions. Basically, we've got the exhaust here, so it comes to the outside, goes through this grate down here, and then the air intake, pilot light, and combustion chamber here. And then over here, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, that grommet right there, that's where the propane's going to come in, and then it connects right there. Sorry. If I don't do this video soon, you guys are going to miss some stuff, so I got to power through here. And then I built some steps recently as well, just to make it a little easier to get in and out of here with the weather. Alright, so let's go inside and see what's going on. Alright, so this is the back end. Let me zoom out. This is the back end of the hot water tank. Alright, I was just having a bit of a coughing fit there. You can see I've insulated kind of where it goes through the wall there pretty well. I'm going to do a little bit more insulation once we get the propane line in and a little bit more of it done. I actually got pretty lucky. Like I said, I wasn't originally planning on installing it through the wall like that. It turns out that that's basically where I wanted to put it, and if you look up here, it's right underneath a header up there under these windows. So I had to cut through that one stud to put it in, but it's not structurally affecting anything, so because all of that is all under the windows already. So that worked out really well. You can also see the gas line on the floor here, and that's the RV furnace we're going to be using to heat this place, along with the fire, the stove, wood stove. And you can kind of see we've got most of it in. It's other than the connections to the devices themselves, we've got the main pipe in. A little bit of a heater going here, and you can see that arrow on the ground right there. That's where the refrigerator is going to go. Right here is another one. That's where the stove, the range, is going to go. The furnace is basically going to go down there, but with the exhaust and the air intake going through the wall, so it'll be laying down. And then we've got our hot water tank. So those are all of our propane appliances. Now for electrical, you can also see I've done a bit more insulating, although I haven't done quite as much as I wanted. I got to get this thing finished, but now the wiring is more or less done, so I can get to it, and I don't really have to work around it anymore. So what do we change? Last time I had mentioned, I'll zoom out a little bit here, last time I had mentioned that we're going to maybe run some new wire, a little bit heavier gauge. So you can see I ran a wire along the floor there. That's 10 gauge wire, and like I mentioned, all of our lighting is DC. I decided, at first I wasn't sure, but I decided to go all DC with our lighting. So this is a 10 gauge wire. This one here is the one coming in, and that powers both of these panels right here. So if all of them were on, there could be it was going to be about 10 amps. I found a website that has, I'll put it below, that has wire gauge calculations for power loss, and you know, I set my acceptable limit to 5% or less, and it gave me the wire. I think it said I need 11, but obviously you're going to round up with your wiring. So that's that. The other change from last time, you can see, everything is all cut in. So basically, I'm ready to insulate around it, and I can put the poly on and put. We're gonna do probably tongue and groove pine on the inside here. But some of the other alterations that I made was I've got some 8 gauge wire here. That's a pretty thick wire. And that's going to go to a DC plug, like a car plug-in. It's going to go on the wall here. Right under this window is sort of going to be, I think that's as far as I can zoom out, but right under that window we're going to have a fold-out table. And that's sort of going to be like an office area. Okay, and there's going to be shelving. Above the window there'll be shelving. And so what we're going to do is, I find, inverters, they use power even when you're not actually drawing power from them. Just having them on, they'll idle, they'll use maybe 2 or 3 amps. And the bigger the inverter, the more amps that they use. Hold on, dear, I'm just gonna take a little drink. The more amps they use just idling, the bigger the inverter. So rather than turning on, we're gonna have a 1600 watt inverter to power all of our AC sockets. But rather than having that on all the time, what we're going to do to save a little bit more electricity is we're going to have a car plug-in right here. And I found something that'll look pretty good. And what that's going to allow us to do is to plug in a smaller 200 watt inverter to run the office. Now we have laptops, they don't use very much electricity, and we're going to have a printer, and that's pretty much it for our office. Well, I guess along with the internet. So, but those use very little electricity as well. They're just a little receiver. So that's going to be basically the office. But yeah, it's going to save us a couple of amps, and then when we need more power, when we want to watch a movie in the evening or something like that, I'm going to have a little switch on the wall that turns the inverter on. And throw the inverter on, turn the TV on, or in the morning if we want to run a blender, coffee maker, whatever, we can turn the inverter on. So that's the plan for the electrical. All right, well that's it for today, and yeah, the next video, hopefully I'll have some more stuff to talk about, but that pretty much covers it. All right, bye everyone. Have a good day.